Hey Mandy, I'm glad you came in for our meeting today.
Thanks.
So I know you wanted to talk about some housing options, but before we do, I want to check in. I know that March is a really hard month for you and it's the anniversary of your husband's death. So I just want to see how things are going.
They're going okay. It's been kind of hard. I feel really lonely a lot, and there's just a lot of times that I just don't want to be here. So it's hard.
Have you had any strong thoughts about ending your life?
I think about suicide, but I don't have a plan. But those thoughts are there, and I just try to avoid them. But sometimes it's really hard.
And that's normal for those thoughts to happen. How are you helping yourself cope, or what are you doing to help you kind of move past those thoughts?
Sometimes I'll look at the safety plan that my therapist and I created and just try to go through those different steps. But it's hard because there's days that I don't even want to do that.
So you said you've used your safety plan, and sometimes there's days you don't want to use it.
Mm-hmm.
So what's cool about safety planning is that, it's strategies that you can use, and there should be a lot of strategies on there that you can kind of pick and choose from. Do you have your safety plan with you?
Yeah.
I'd love to look over it with you and see if there's things that maybe we can update together today before your next therapy session, as it sounds like just things are really hard right now. Is that something you'd want to do?
Yeah.
Okay. And remember, since we can change things on a safety plan, it's not set in stone as we kind of talk about it and look at it. Do you want to share with me what you have for your warning signs on your safety plan?
So leading up to the anniversary of his death, I noticed that one of the warning signs is just wanting to avoid the day and just stay in bed all day and just not do anything or go anywhere or talk to anybody. And I also, one of my warning signs is just feeling anxious and guilty that I'm still here, and it almost just makes me sick. And so I know this last month that there were some times when I just felt like being really destructive and just wanted to do things to kind of forget, go get drunk or do drugs. And I know that's not good, but sometimes I think about that.
Is that on your safety plan right now?
No.
Would it make sense for you to add that?
Yeah.
Is there anything else you feel like could be helpful to add to your safety plan?
Not really.
Okay. So let's talk a little bit about the coping skills that you have written down.
So for my coping skills, I put down that I like to ride my bike or take my dog for a walk, just because it helps me to kind of not think about it. Just helps me to distract it. And I put down meditation, but I really don't like it because when I'm riding my bike, I'm not really thinking and I'm not focused on the bad stuff. But with meditating, it's hard to sit there and quiet my mind because I just feel like things are racing and I'm constantly thinking about bad stuff.
So would you want to take meditation maybe off your safety plan right now?
Yeah.
Okay. And if you feel like maybe at another point you'd want to add it back, we can definitely do that. Is there a different coping skill that maybe you'd want to add? Or, bike riding and dog walking are really great, weather dependent. And knowing that the weather's kind of all over the place right now, is there anything that you'd want to add that you could do in any sort of weather?
When it's raining or when the weather's bad outside, sometimes I like to try new recipes or bake some goodies for my friends, or that just kind of feels relaxing to me and peaceful.
That's
So
awesome.
I probably should add.
Yeah. Is there anything else you think could be really good coping skills to add?
Not that I could think of.
Okay. We can always go back and add if we need to. So let's move on to step 3 of your safety plan. Those people and settings, those social settings that can help create distractions for you. What do you have down?
I have my friend Casey and my friend Brian, and then I have my mom.
Mm-hmm.
But my friend Brian moved away,
Mm-hmm.
and so he's not really, he's not available.
Mm-hmm. Can we maybe think of a place that you could add to that?
I don't know about a place, but I really like doing stuff with Continue Mission. It's a
Mhm.
veterans organization I belong to,
Mm-hmm.
and so just being around them and doing stuff is helpful.
Yeah, that feeling connected.
Yeah.
Would you want to put that down?
Yeah.
Those are all really excellent. So next up is those people you can reach out to if you're having a crisis and when things get hard.
Mhm.
Those good support systems that, I know we've talked about that you have. Who do you have down for that?
Well, I have my therapist, and then I have you, and then I also have my bishop.
So I just want to check. So I know that you have, some professional supports listed, but I want to back up and think of those people that are just naturally in your life for those supports.
Like people at church.
Yeah. What do you have listed there?
I could put people at church, and then other veterans organizations that I go to.
Okay.
And people that I cycle with.
Mm-hmm. Maybe so. Yeah, those people. Do you feel comfortable with those people? If you were thinking about suicide, reaching out to them and saying, "I'm thinking about killing myself. I need help."
Yeah, I think if I couldn't contact Brian or Casey or my mom, I would be comfortable talking to somebody at church or at another veterans organization and reaching out to them.
Okay.
So add that.
Any updates on those? You can update that.
Yeah.
So next up, you mentioned them before, those professional supports. You have your therapist written down. Did your therapist talk with you about the best way to contact them? Are they always available, or do you have to leave a message when you call them?
Sometimes.
Okay.
And that's why they recommended having several, having my therapist and then having you or another social worker, so that if the therapist is not available right away, that I could go to somebody else that might be available. And so they just said call their office number, and then if they're not available, then possibly can't get to me right away, then it's okay to reach out to another professional.
That's excellent. So I want to make sure you have the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline number. So that number, whenever you're ready, is
Okay.
800-273-TALK, TALK, or 8255. And I want to make sure too it's in your phone, so that's easily accessible. Maybe we can put it in under one of your favorites, or something that's really going to pop up for you if you need that support.
It's the National
Suicide Prevention Lifeline.
Okay.
And just as you're typing that in there, I just want to remind you, kind of as you're looking at your safety plan and you're using your safety plan, you know, when you notice warning signs, you want to use those coping skills that we talked about, reaching out to people who can help distract you, people who can help support you in crisis, and then those professional supports. But at any point in your plan, if you're feeling like it's just too much, and your plan's maybe not working in the moment, please reach out to those professional supports. The Lifeline's 24/7, and they actually have an option for veterans on the Lifeline. So I just want to make sure that you know you can jump to those professional supports if you need that help. Okay. So let's talk about how you're keeping your environment safe and ultimately you safe. What do you have written down there?
So for that, so my last suicide attempt, I tried to overdose with medications, and so I just I don't have a lot of medication in my house. I just try to keep just what I need. And then too, part of that is like I don't like alcohol in my house because I don't want that temptation to be there to do anything. So I just make sure I don't keep alcohol in my house.
Those are two really good ways to keep your environment safe. What about the firearms in your home? I'm assuming with your past military history, you have some firearms.
I just have those for protection, and I don't think I would ever do that. I don't think I would ever shoot myself.
And I know, like, you are so trained on your firearms and you have them for protection. Sometimes, like you've talked about, those feelings just kind of come and go. Would there be possibility to have them stored at maybe a friend's house so that they can stay safe and you can stay safe as you're, working to build your coping skills and work through some of these feelings you've been having?
That's hard because I don't. They're for my protection, but I guess if I had to, I could take them to my friend Casey's house. He has a gun safe, and so he would probably be willing to take them.
That's great, and it sounds like you trust Casey to keep your guns really safe for you too.
Oh yeah.
Would you be able to connect with Casey and have the firearms moved over to his place tonight?
Oh yeah, I could do that.
Okay, so what I want to do, if you're okay with it, is follow up with you tomorrow to see how that went, if you're able to get the firearms over to Casey's house, and just check in how you're doing with that.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah, I can call him today.
That's awesome. The last part of our safety plan, I think, is one that is so important, is really looking at those reasons that you're here and those reasons for living. What do you have down for those right now?
I put that I want to be here for my nieces and nephews because I'm their fun aunt. And I put down that I want to finish school. And then I also put down I like to entertain my friends and make them laugh. And so if I wasn't here, I couldn't do that. Couldn't do those things.
Those are all awesome. What do you see as kind of the reason for living that's the strongest for you right now, or kind of the one that jumps off the page for you?
Oh, being here for my nieces and nephews. Because I got to teach them how to be funny, and I got to teach them how to get in trouble and piss off their parents. Be the fun aunt.
Be the fun aunt.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome.
Spoil them.
And I think, too, it's so important to remember that you can add to those. Just like we did on the safety plan, you can add to those. Sometimes the reasons for living that you might have written down maybe aren't as strong, and you want to add into things you're looking forward to or things that are coming up. So feel free to kind of move around with that a little bit. So just as we wrap up, I want to check in with you on a scale of 0 to 10. How likely are you to use this plan and how we've updated it?
Probably a 10 right now.
A 10?
Yeah.
That's excellent.
Yeah.
So what I want to do is tomorrow, like I mentioned, regarding your firearms, I want to check in about, moving those over to Casey's place for the time being. But then I also want to check in on the plan and see if you've had any updates or thoughts. Sometimes, when you leave here, you're like, I have this great idea, I should put it down. Is that okay for me to just call and check in with you?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Any questions for me?
No, I think I'm good.
Okay, and just
Thank
one
you.
final thing. I know you have your plan in your purse, but a lot of times I like people to take a picture of their plan just in case, it gets lost in the wonders of your purse and you
Mhm.
need it. And I know you have your phone out right now. Do you feel comfortable taking a picture and saving it?
Okay.
And that way you just have a couple places for that plan in case you're, not with your purse and you just need to take a look at it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So
Yeah, I always have my phone with me.
we always do, right?
Mhm.
So I love that we were able to update that and, let's take some time and look at that housing stuff, okay?
Okay, yes.